Hi, I'm Terry Brock, and welcome to this episode of Achievement Update. Hey, I've got a little bit different approach today, and I want to show you some of the things that are available in two key areas. Number one, how saying no can help you do better marketing. And secondly, I want to show you some really good tools that I'm using right now. So a lot of good features packed into this very short episode of Achievement Update. Be sure and read the article that I have. I'll give you a little bit more detail on that, as well as be sure and listen to the podcast, because the podcast, we can go really in depth on that a lot more. Gives us a lot more capability on that. But I want to talk about how saying no for better marketing can really help you a lot. You want to have that word indelibly stamped into your mind, no, because you can't do everything. See, that's the real key. Right now, you have to say no in some cases, particularly during tough times. Because you see, you only have so much time, money, and effort, that TME, and you cannot expend unlimited amounts of it. I've tried it before, and maybe you have. Maybe you can relate to this, where you really try to be with that client, that prospect, I should say, that you think is going to turn into a client, you think it's going to be good, and it just doesn't go anywhere. Eventually, you got to say, this isn't going to work. And so you can't be best buds with everyone. You can't be a wonderful good friend with everyone out there that you meet. Now, of course, we treat people cordially. Of course, we treat them nice. Because, see, often people go, well, then if you're not going to be nice to them, I guess you're going to be terrible to them. No. Come on. There's a happy medium. It's called being friendly, doing things in a business approach, and making sure that it's done right. But it doesn't mean that you're going to be buddies with everybody, because you got to think more like relationship farming. Be a relationship farmer. You know how farming is that way? I talk about this in my book. Matter of fact, here, shameless plug for my new book, Relationship Marketing. It's not about e-commerce, the electronics. It's about our commerce, relationships. And what you want to do is you want to be able to build those relationships that are going to be quality, going to be profitable, and be able to help in many different areas. Mutually beneficial, value for value. That's the key. You must always have that value attached to it, because if the value is not there, it's not worth continuing. You've got to cultivate the very, very best. Think how a farmer will look at the row of crops. That farmer cannot get down on knees and take care of every blade of every stalk that's growing on a 1,000-acre farm. It just won't happen. You're not going to go very far. And if you tried to do it, you would end up losing a great deal of the crop. Think like a farmer when you're marketing. But be careful when you're doing it. Careful, couple of things. You don't want to offend anyone, ever. I think always remain professional is a really good motto to have. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, always be professional, never offend people. And look at future business. Person might not be someone you're working with right now, but they could later. And very important, this person might never work with you, but they could refer someone. They could refer somebody to you that would be able to work with them. A group called BNI is very, very good for this. And Ivan Mesner founded the organization years ago. And one of the phrases they use I really like is, you might not sell to a person, but you could sell through them. In other words, a good recommendation coming to you because of what you did with this one person. Always be careful of that and treat people properly and professionally, no matter what. I think you've got to think not yet. In other words, it might not happen right now. Like a farmer is saying, okay, it's not happening right now. We're just sowing the crops. We're just tilling the field, but harvest will come eventually. Not now, but perhaps later you'll get this. And we're going to have more on this in the podcast. So be sure and listen to the podcast that'll be out on the site. As I'm recording this video, the podcast is not there yet, but we'll get that out there for you. And be sure and catch there. And a good way to learn how you can do that is through the High Achievers Coaching System. It's a coaching system we're getting rave reviews on now. I mean, it's wonderful to hear people talking about how much it's helping them to generate business. Don't try to make it on your own. Get the expertise and help you need for marketing and technology. You're going to find out about it through a systematic series of programs and contact and real human contact that you'll have available through email, and you'll be able to do that in other ways as well. So check into that as you go. I want to now talk a little bit about some of the technologies that I use, because I often get questions about this, and how you can use them too. And matter of fact, we're just going to have some fun with this. I'll show you some of the things that are out there. One of the technologies I'm using a lot lately is Google Docs. Google Docs gives me the ability to put to-do lists on there and things like that in a really big way. I also use Safari and Firefox, both of them, on my Macintosh. I would recommend Internet Explorer and Firefox if you're on the Windows side. And Photo Booth, great on the Mac for taking quick pictures and movies, for doing a lot of things there. iTunes and podcasts, that's a definite. Every day I'm listening to good things on my iPhone, using that, and I'm downloading podcasts so that I can listen to them when I'm wandering around, when I'm getting breakfast, when I'm cleaning up around my condo, when I'm going to the grocery store, whatever I'm doing, when I've got a few spare minutes, I want to listen to educational quality material. Or, like in the evening, I love listening to good, soft classical music, just to kind of relax and enjoy that. When I want to get fired up, I've got some good energizing music. And then educational podcasts are out there, and you can use those a lot. And then Kindle for the iPhone. I saw this just last week, signed up for it like that, and then ordered a book right online for $9.95, downloaded it, read the book that morning. It was beautiful. I walked out on my balcony in the dark. In the dark. It usually gets dark in Orlando at night, and I was there in the dark early in the morning, and I was reading this book, having a great time. That cool night air was there. It was fabulous. I highly recommend looking into Kindle for the iPhone. Well, let's look at some of the tools that you can use. There's a bunch of them out there. Like I mentioned, Twitter and YouTube and iPodcast, etc. But also you can do things like you'll see over here on this screen. You'll see there's a video there in the lower left when I was recording an interview with Gina Schreck. She's an expert on Twitter up in Denver, Colorado, a fellow professional speaker, and she was kind enough to help me put some things together. We're developing a course right now on Twitter use for the coaching program, and it gives the ability to do a lot of different things, give you the ability to look at all kinds of information that you can use Twitter for and how it works for you. And so these are available. But you'll notice, by the way, at that screen, you'll see that there's motion on there. We're recording this, and it was done on Skype. That's a tool that I highly recommend that you look into because of the capabilities and the benefits that it has for you. Here's Google Docs I was telling you about. I use this for sending information, for keeping track of what's going on, important documents. Really, really good, because then I can put it in a secure place, and later I can check it and find out what's available. Safari and Firefox I mentioned, I use both of them, and I recommend that you get two browsers that you can use so you can bounce back and forth very easily, either Alt-Tab on the Windows side or Command-Tab on the Macintosh side. And of course, you got to check out my iTunes podcast. Go over to do a search on Terry Brock in the Apple iTunes store, and you'll see it, and you'll see we've got several episodes there growing all the time. And this is something that you'll want to do in two ways. Number one is use it for listening and growing to expand your own knowledge. And number two, for your own business. So you can build a business that way and get information out there about what you're doing. Interviewing people that are stakeholders in your corporation, industry officials that you can talk about, and you become the resource in your industry. Real big way. Also, YouTube is really good. Many of you have seen my YouTube site and the capabilities that are there. Here it is, youtube.com/Terry L. Brock, as one word. And if you go out there, you'll see this. You'll see all the videos that I have and the capabilities that are there for you. Some really good inspirational and marketing ideas on how to get ahead and what to do on that. And hey, I can't let you get away without sharing with you the really good news on Skype for Business. Woo! This is out there now, and it works. We can talk on our iPhone, and be able to use Skype. That means on an iPhone, you can make calls from Skype to Skype for free anywhere in the world. Moving around, you just need to be in a Wi-Fi area. But if you're in that Wi-Fi area, it will work. Great business tool and technology. More on this in the podcast as well. And so if you'd like some more information on how you can achieve the goals you want and get through some of these times, be sure and check into the High Achievers coaching system. It's available, and we priced it very, very reasonably so you can get into it and gain a lot of information from it. Look into that. It's right there at terrybrock.com. Well, I'm Terry Brock, and thank you very much for joining me today. I will look forward to hearing from you. You can drop me a note, terry@terrybrock.com. Hope you have a great day.